Let's make some changes to that spotlight that we just placed. Now I've selected it here so it shows up as highlighted here. And let's go in and change its color. Let's use a deep red. And let's change the cone angle to say 15 degrees. And let's do a render with those settings. Let me move this up a little bit, open up my render, zoom down a bit, and let's render. There's my new render. Now I know we set the color at red, but you likely have the same color that I do, which is a sort of an orangey color. Now this is not unusual with a render. You don't always get exactly what you think you're going to get. Now we can tweak that a tiny bit with the settings. If we take it all the way down, we get more of a whitish center, or all the way up, it makes it slightly redder. But like I say, this is not unusual, so don't be surprised. I'm going to move that over for the moment. Let's take a look at some other settings in the Light Manager box. I want to look at this one, highlight, and this one, which is center. Now right now, my light cell is not highlighted, but it is selected here. So if I select the highlight, it will highlight my cell and show me where the beam is aimed. Now it looks a little strange because I'm seeing the location of the cell, which is fine, but it looks like the target is somewhere back here where in fact it's actually there. Now the reason they do this is because sometimes if you're working with a fairly small object, this cone can completely obliterate the object itself, making it very difficult to actually select a target point. So this is a little bit truncated. Now we have several anchor points on here. This green one here is the location of the light, and we can pick that up and drag it and say put it somewhere else. Same goes for the target, that's this other blue box. That can go there, for example, and you see that it's gone back to its shorter format. Let me reverse that. Let's put that back where it was. Now we can turn this light on or off by clicking on the dot here. It says toggle light on or off. Click it. Notice that the light is now off. Put it back on again. And the bulb tells you what it is and the name of it, so you can find it in your list if necessary. You also turn this light off here too by double-clicking that little icon. That turns it off. Double-click it back on again. Now this is all very fine, but what happens if, say, my light is not visible, which is likely to be the case in a very large design with many lights. If I need to find that particular light, I select it and go to the next icon, which is center. When I press that, the light itself is placed right smack in the center of the view, which is very convenient. Now I know exactly where that light is in the design. Now one more thing on here, if I change the preset, right now we have an incandescent 100 watt bulb as a preset, but if I change it to say the next one, notice that all of the settings have changed to the default settings for that preset. So the colors have gone back to white and the angles have gone back to 30. Go back to the 100 watt bulb, and it's still the same because they are the presets for that particular bulb type. So just be aware of that if you do change bulb types, you'll lose all of those temporary settings that you previously made. Now I'm still seeing this pop into the center because this is still on. You can turn that off. And now it won't pop to the center whenever I work with that light. Now, as a bit of interest, these presets, they're contained in a drawing file, and I'll show you where that is. I'm going to go to Workspace and Configuration, and we're looking for the MS Light List item. Here we are. Here's the MS Light List. Click on that, and here you see the path to Light List design file. And when you open that, and I have already done that for you, what you'll see is this. This is the Light List design file. And in here, you'll see preset lights, and they're described in this way. And these really are cells, light cells if you wish, which when you select the preset on this side, picks up this and places it as the light cell in the design. Now you can quickly see the information in here, and it doesn't stop you from making your own specific lights using the same format. And the key, of course, is give it the name. That's the important thing. So there's our incandescent 100 watt bulb. The brightness, intensity, the color, which is white, cone angles, delta angles, etc., etc., etc. Sort of poke around and see what you can see. But keep in mind that you can make your own. Let's get rid of that. Go back to my previous model. And to finish off, let's place another one. This is now going to be called Spotlight number 1 by default. And again, you should give this a specific name. But let's change the color. Let's make this a nice bright green and see if we actually get a green this time. Let's change this to say 20. That will do just fine. It wants to know where we want to put it. Well, I want to locate the light there on this line now and aim at this corner here, like that. We can highlight that and click on that. You can see it's in place nicely. Let's turn that off. Okay, let's pop in a fence. And let's render this. Okay, it's done. Let's change the lighting levels. Now we're seeing a white here for the first spotlight because if you remember, we changed the presets backwards and forwards, which killed off the selections. Let's change this back to red. Let's pick something like this for a change. And let's redo this. Now I see more of what I expect to see. I have a purplish main spotlight. I have my green spotlight here, as you'd expect to see it. Let's make one more change. Going to select this spotlight and zoom in, select it, and go to that. There's my light. Let's pick the target up here and place it there. So now I have this spotlight at the center and this at the center. I'm going to have to put my fence back in because I use the element selection tool. And let's render that. There we go. Purple on the outside with my spot aiming down sideways, and everything fades away into the background here. So there you have it for spotlights. As always, please go ahead and experiment with different settings. At the moment, stick to spotlights. I have a fairly fast computer, so mine are rendering quite quickly, but don't be surprised if you see a longer rendering time than this, or a shorter one if your computer is faster than mine. Anyway, go forth and practice, please.